Hi everyone. So today I am going to do a animation on Ice Spice. So as always, I go to Google Trends, I see what's trending, and that's how I pick my topics and what I am going to animate next. And at this point, I don't like to do a lot of research. I like to just see what Google Trends is telling me and then kind of make my own because it's really the word that's important. It is important what you're showing, but if it's interesting, then it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to name it Ice Spice. I'm going to do my pre-created 24 frame YouTube short, so it gives me the size and the 24 frames, and I'm going to create this project. So what I'm kind of thinking is I'm gonna have a glass, I'm gonna put some ice in it, I'm gonna put some spice in it, and then someone's gonna come and drink it, and it's gonna be disgusting. And so this is what I mean by I'm gonna make it my own video, kind of my own thing. I have no idea why that's trending on Google, on YouTube, but I'm gonna make it my own. So first thing I'm gonna do, let's create the length. We're gonna go to 1,000 just to give myself some breathing room. My drawing is going to be my background. So I am going to draw a square. Let's see, I'm kind of thinking orange, like a really light orange for a background. That's too light. Yeah, that's a good color. So we'll make that the background. Then I need my my glass. So let's add glass. I need ice cube 1, 2, and we're gonna put 3 in there. I'm going to have my spice shaker. And then I'm going to have my spices. And then I'm gonna have my person. Now I want, let's see, we're gonna say face, and then I'm gonna give mouth and eyes. Okay, so those are the two elements that I'm going to animate with the person. So think about it. People give emotions not just with their mouths, but with their eyes too. So we're going to, in fact, I'm going to do an eye 1 and an eye 2. Because I'll probably have them turning a little bit, turning in. And so that gives me a little bit, the ability to do it a little faster. All right, let's extend this. So I'm going to F5 that and bring this all the way to the end. Now let's animate the glass. Let's draw the glass in. So what I'm thinking is it's just gonna be sort of like I'm gonna make this really simple. It's going to just basically be, oh, I do not like that line. Control Z. I want it to bellow out more than I want it to bellow in. It's not quite bellowing, but it's okay. And I got it. I hate that. Okay. Let's close these gaps. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a solid bottom too. All right, so then 2 things I'm gonna do here. Let's see. So actually I've got a few ideas. I can either make this transparent and put it as a top layer, or I could put it as a bottom layer and do a really light color. I'm kind of thinking I want to make it transparent. So I'm going to put it above everything because this is always going to be the layer that comes out. I'm going to extend it to 1,000. I can never remember where the transparency is. So bear with me while I look. Animation. Insert play. No. View. Now let's just go to the help and look for transparency effects. It's in insert effects, transparency. And go into this layer. I'll make it 80. I want it to be pretty darn transparent. Yeah, 80 is good. So the higher the number, the more transparent it is. One other thing that I hate about this is the transparency is that you can't see the black line very well. So I am going to actually do 2 layers. The glass isn't going to move. So it's totally fine. In fact, maybe I'll just put it, if it's not going to move. Now I'm going to put it on some layer. So I'll have one that's transparent and one that's not. And let's extend that to the full 1,000. That's to the full 1,000. So now let's color this in. I want to do like an ice blue. And in fact, on that other layer, one of the reasons I wanted to do another layer is I'm going to make that bottom piece solid. So I want it to be a really ice blue. Let's go up here like that. Because it's going to be transparent, it's not that big of a deal. What is going on here? So I want that. Why is this not? I have an idea as to what's going on. Let's try and do this again. Let's delete that. Paste it again. Oh, and I didn't paste exact. Using my arrows to try and get it on top. I'm going to take this color. And it might just be too transparent. So maybe I'll make it a little bit less transparent. We'll go to 20 and see if that'll let me. All right, it's not the end of the world. It's just not going to be as blue as I was planning. That's not a big deal. It doesn't really need to be transparent then if it's not going to be blue. I got one more thing I want to check because this looks like it might not be fully closed. That's probably what it is. Oops. We're going to do that on the correct layer. And I'm not going to make random lines. There we go. All right, now let's try it. That's what it is. All right, let's make this more transparent again. We'll go 80 again. So now you can see there is a huge change there. Let me turn off the light box. So that's what it's going to look like. All right, let's draw ice cube 1. That is not what I was trying to do. I'm trying to drag using spacebar. Okay, we're going to draw our ice cubes. And they're just going to be squares. Yeah, and that's on the transparency level. All right, squares. And as always, nothing I draw is perfect. It's just going to be what it is. So there's ice cube 1. Draw ice cube 2. And ice cube 3. Again, not perfect. This is not what real ice cubes look like. I want to do a sort of a similar, but I don't want it to blend into the glass and kind of look really monotone. So I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to make this one a little bit lighter. So you see the contrast. It's almost white, but we do have that blue hue in there. I'm gonna go a little bit. That's good. All right, and then I'm gonna go into each of my layers, make them blue, make them this new color. Oh, that one's not completely, so let's option B, go to black, and let's zoom in using 2, figure out it's right here. And I know that there's other ways to do it, but that's just the way that I kind of have done it. Let's extend these. F5, we're going to go to the full 1,000. And thing is looking at this cup, this is pretty boring. So I want to get the action going right away. If I have a lot going on in this initial scene, I might want to pause there for about a second before I get going. But because there's not anything going on, we're going to drop those ice cubes pretty darn fast. So let's keyframe that. I think 10 frames, which is a little less than half a second. I think that's a good amount. So let's drag this right on here. And we're going to come over and we're gonna land right on that blue line. The other one, we're gonna keyframe and I'm gonna stagger it just a little bit. Again, just like my drawing, I'm not very much of a perfectionist with my animations either. I know the principles, I know at least generally what I'm doing. And it's not that I'm ignoring them, it's just that I have my own style. And we're gonna drop this one in. And I want you to be able to see all the ice cubes. In fact, maybe I'll stack this one on top of the other two. Kind of like that. All right, let's play it. I kind of want to do a little bit of, I'm going to start it because I kind of like where they have been ending up, that they're straight. So they're going to start, I'm going to start them a little turned and then they're going to go and sit nicely. And I think that's going to make it look a little bit more realistic, even though in reality, ice cubes do not have a perfect 2D change, but the eye is not going to catch that. It's just going to see the movement. So it does look a little funny, but I think it's good. It's good enough. All right, let's do the spice shaker. So there's a couple ways we could do this. I could do like a salt shaker. I could do like one with those handles. I could do something big. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do a salt shaker and I'm going to write the word spice on it. So now that we're a spice shaker, that's a little... All right, let's do the bottom first. I'm going to give it a little top. I'm going to add some holes in it. Close this up and give it some holes. There is going to be a little kind of a thing there. In fact, if I really wanted to be fancy, I could kind of do this and erase these lines. Actually, I'm going to do it away. It's probably better to erase it, but I'm going to look for gray, which is going to be the top. So we're going to come in here, look for a gray color. Let's see, I think that's good. So let's make it gray. I'm going to make these lines gray and the sides gray. Make all of it gray. There we go. The top's going to be gray. I'm going to make those holes black. Usually I will create my own black so it's not perfectly black. In this case, it's such a minor detail that I'm not even going to go through that. And then I'm going to do sort of like an orange spice. So we're going to go like here. Or, actually, I've got a better idea. We're going to go like a yellow white. And then I'm going to write the word spice on it. I see the problem. Option B, black. Let's color in these little gaps. Make sure that the gaps are shut. All right. And then I'm going to write, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it on the outside. And the reason being is that allows me to make it bigger or smaller, because when I'm writing, I don't like to be constrained. So we're going to do this. It's going to be on the outside. S P I C. So you could already see that this would definitely go off the bottle. ICE. And this I'm going to make bright orange. We're going to make that. I want it to be bright orange. I'm actually kind of thinking I want the bottle to be almost a brown. So instead of just changing and creating a new color, I can just go in here and go and kind of find the brown that I'm looking for. This is ugly as hell, but I kind of like it. All right. I like the ugly. All right. Now I'm going to take my spice. I'm going to place it right on top, and you can see that it's way too big. I'm going to put it kind of low since my lower area is a little bit, and I can fix that P. That P isn't filled in, but that's okay. We're going to go into it and take. Now the contrast, I don't like the contrast. I'm going to make this orange a little bit brighter and this a little bit darker, so that there's a little bit more contrast. All right, there's our spice bottle. All right, let's extend it. F5. We're going to keyframe it, and it probably doesn't need to go a full second, so I'm going to go just shy of a full second. We're going to rotate it. I want the axis to be here, so it's going to rotate on that fulcrum, and based on that, I'm going to move it up and down. So you can see it's almost where I want it to go, but not quite. So I'm going to move it about there. And I think that's, let's see how this looks. This might take too long. So there's the ice cubes, there's the spice. It's going to shake up and down. So we're going to go like this. Keyframe up. Keyframe. I'm going to take these two. We're going to do this a few times. And then finally, I'm going to take some time and bring it back. And it really doesn't need to go all the way back. Once it's out of the shot, it's fine. That's perfect. So now I need to draw the spices going in there. I'm going to start with the first shake. So there's a couple ways I can do this. One thing I've done in the past, and I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do, is do crosses. And it kind of makes it look shinier in like a cartoon way. I've also done like globs. Globs almost look more more fine. So because these are spices and they're kind of, we're going to do this. And since that's just the first, I'm just going to do 2, maybe 3. We'll do 3. I'm going to hit period to go to the next frame. And now I'm going to go to town, and we're just going to put in all kinds of crosses. And at a certain point, I'm probably going to cycle this. The first one, since that was just near the top, I didn't want to cycle it. So once I feel pretty good, and I kind of want to turn my onion skin off before I decide if I want to cycle it. Let's turn the onion skin off. I'm going to use my comma and period buttons to go through. That one's a little light. We're going to add a few more into that one. That's why I turned the onion skin off. So I'm not going to cycle through that one, not that one. So these last three, I'm going to cycle through. So I'll select those. Right click, create cycle. They're probably 4, we'll say 4. That wasn't enough. Create cycle will go 6. Still not enough, but I'm just going to copy and paste. And on this last one, we're just going to do a bunch down here. that's it. And we'll extend that to the end. So now the mouth is going to come in, but I'm kind of thinking before we do a mouth, I want to put a straw in there. Otherwise, I have to animate a whole thing of the glass moving up to the person's face. What I like the idea of is dropping a straw in there, and then we're going to bring a face in, and they're just going to sip it. You know what? Something else that I want to do. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we'll do a straw. And the straw does need to be above the face. So we're going to put the straw right here. One other thing that I want to do is this background. I want to give it a tabletop. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do it really low. We're just going to draw a straight line. What color do I want it to be? I'm not using this gray a lot. Usually I make it brown so it looks like it's on a wood table. In this case, I kind of like the gray. So let's do the gray. Cool. All right, now let's draw the straw. And the straw, you can imagine. All right, we're going to draw the straw starting here. And it's just going to be where's my black? There we go. It's just going to be a box, a very long box. And let's give it a color. I kind of like black straws. So that black that I was talking about that I usually don't make a color for unless there's enough. So I made a color for black. We're going to extend this to the 1000. We're going to keyframe it. We're going to drop it in, and I'm going to give it less than a second to get in there. It's not the exciting part of the animation. It's just to help us with some other stuff. So I could put some liquid in there, but then it becomes like water spice. I could have the ice melt a little. I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to leave it as is. Now, as for someone to come in, I'm almost regretting that tabletop decision. So I'm actually going to take this tabletop and I'm going to put it on a different layer. So copy, delete, and I got to redraw this into this layer. Actually, it doesn't matter because I'm going to do the exact same thing. I want it to be a layer up below the glass. Let's see, how do I want this? I'm going back on what I'm saying. All right. So what I was thinking is that I wanted the person to come up from underneath, from this area and come up. What I'm finding though is that it's going to be really, and if I put some brain power into this, I could probably figure out how to put the cup in front of the tabletop in front of the kid, but I've got another idea to do this. So the face. We're going to have him come from the side. And I was thinking for a moment that I want to do a profile, but I don't really care for the aesthetic of my profile. So I'm literally going to have this guy come like from over here up into this corner. And this is part of the reason why I kind of have such a funky aesthetic, is that it does allow me to make some funny choices. And that spice bottle could actually go away at this point. Make him hair. Give him some brown hair. It's a good color. We'll do our coloring in a minute. All right, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Color that in. Color that in. Give him eyes. Ooh, there's some funky shaped eyes. All right. Give him some eyeballs. And I'm going to give him eyebrows. Ugh. Eyebrow 1. Eyebrow 2. And noses I've kind of been playing with. Like, I've done usually that. Sometimes I'll add a line there. I'm not particularly fond of that line. Oh, you know what? Since we're doing the eyes on a different level, I'm going to copy these. And actually, we're just going to copy it to both of these. All right. So it should be deleted from this. We'll finish this layer first before we move on. So let's do his hair. His skin's almost this color. Let's make it just a little tad lighter, just so that he doesn't blend into the background too much. We could always change the color of the background. All right. That's his face. His mouth. We'll start with a straight line. And I honestly could just stay like that. I honestly don't hate that. Let's see what he looks like with some lips. Yeah, we're going to keep it as just a straight line. All right, now let's do the eyes. So eye 1, I'm going to delete one of these. And then I'm going to delete the other one from this one. So now we've got eyes on either side. And color them in. I always use the black and the white that they suggest for you. Reason being is that even though I do like using my own whites and blacks, with eyes, if they're kind of a funny color, they look funny. So I usually just stick to what they give me. At least for eyes. And I can see that this is not going to be shot over here. So option I to go back. There we go. All right. And then one more thing I'm going to do. I got to get rid of this spice shaker. It's driving me nuts. At least leave it there. I don't think this video is going to go much further than that. All right. So we're going to extend these all to the 1,000 mark, even though it's likely not going to get there. I'm going to keyframe it. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these layers and I'm going to put them under the face layer. Perfect. And there's a reason for that. So, oh, you know what? I want to give him a neck. So let's go back to the face layer. Oh, then he doesn't have any eyes. Okay, I'm taking that back. We're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I'm not going to figure it out on this video. The other thing I want to do is give him a neck and a shirt. So on the face layer, we'll give him just a little neck and then maybe... Oh, that's horrible. Okay. There's his shirt and his shoulders. And he really doesn't need to be... I doubt we'll even see it. But it's good to just have it. Have it. Might give him maybe a blue shirt. We'll give him a purple shirt. Nah, I like the blue. Let's do blue. All right, cool. So now we're going to do this. I was going to layer this, but we're going to do this a different way. And I kind of want him to kind of come out of the blue. So I'm going to make this a little on the slow side. We're I'm going to give him a little less than a second. I'm going to select all of those, and he's just going to move in. Yeah, I think that's fine. All right, first thing he's gonna do, okay, this mouth, I don't know why I decided that it needed to go all the way there. We're gonna change it. Actually, we're gonna extend it just a little bit longer. We'll go to 95. At 95, we're going to change it to, I'm gonna turn the onion skin on for this so that I know exactly where I'm going. And I'm going to fill it in with my black. So let's turn off the light. I think this will look better in practice. Yeah, so then we'll extend it to about 20, so about 116. And that's when his eyes are gonna change too. So his eyes and mouth is all gonna change. And in fact, one thing I'm thinking too is that he's gonna back away a little bit. And so I'm, in this change, I'm thinking I'm gonna make this just a little bit smaller. And to be honest, no one might even notice that he's being made smaller. One thing that I'm realizing though is I need to update his shirt. So let's do that really quick. I thought that that wasn't going to be a problem. It's definitely a problem. And so let's just give him, that onion skin's kind of driving me nuts. Make sure that's all closed. I'm gonna turn the onion skin off. It's distracting. Okay. Just gonna wince a little bit. And I really want it to be obvious at this point. So I'm going to draw it here and then I'm going to animate it backwards. So that eye is not really in the picture, which is fine. So I'm really just going to focus on this eye, and he's, I'm going to turn onion skin back on. And we're going to focus on this eye. So his eyebrow is going to go like this. His eye is going to go like this. Let's see how that looks. I think I want his eye more like how I had his mouth previously. So we're going to actually do this. Make sure that eye is filled in. All right. Bring that to 200. We're going to do the same with the mouth. Now that I think about it, the eyes are actually going to, this, since I onion skinned this off of when the face was over here, I actually need to animate it the opposite. So we're going to go this way and maybe make it a little bit smaller. And we'll do the same with the mouth. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Instead of doing that, we'll keyframe it after the fact. So that eye is in the right placement. We're going to do the mouth in the right placement. So what I'm thinking for the mouth is that he's just going to be sticking his tongue out. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this. I'm going to give it a little this. And let's give him a bright pink tongue. And this is animation, so we can go really funky with this. All right, we'll extend that. To 40, we're almost done. I'm gonna move that. All right, so then all three of these I want to keyframe, and then we're going to do the movement. And that movement's not gonna be very far or very long. So let's select all these. We're going to have them back up just a tad. Now, then the question is, do I want to say anything at this point? Spice Ice is not that nice. So we'll go text. And I usually put the text on top of everything, so we'll put it up here. And what color do I want that to be? So we'll give it a second to digest. We'll start at 130, which means I should probably go. That one could go a little longer. So like 130. We'll have some text. I have the same, chakra patch semi-bold that I always use. And I'm going to write, I'm kind of thinking I'm going to write right here, which means it's got to be pretty small. So we'll make it a 30 and see if that is too big. I'll have to change it. We'll do this. All right, what I think I'm going to do with this is I'm going to do this in 2. So we'll make this, we'll bring this to 200. I don't think I'll need it. And then we're going to do text too. So after a second, it's going to say not so nice. Ice Spice. Not so nice. And that's it. I still need to add sound, but before I do that, let's see what it looks like. Oh, I need to make the Ice Spice. I need to make this longer, but then I think we're good to go. Do it to 80. Whatever this is. The mouth looks like it needs to go a little bit longer. To 80. And I think we're good to roll. So at this point, I'm going to go to YouTube, find music in their creator area. And then I'm going to add some like clinking of the ice. I'm going to add some slurping and some other noise. But I'm not going to make you guys bear with me as I try and figure that out. So thanks for watching. Bye.